What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day. And this has been an interesting story to follow. The Snow White movie, which is going to be a beautiful disaster, has been tripping all over itself for woke points since its inception, pretty much guaranteeing a perfect 99 out of 100 score on Rotten Tomatoes and somewhere around a 11 to 14% audience score. First, of course, they cast a Latinx woman to play Snow White. Everyone knows the skin as white as snow is definitely something that you think of when you think of Latin American, obviously. And the main actress, by the way, has a history of just vile tweets and comments. Snow White actress Rachel Zegler attempts to rehab her vile image by calling to love her critics, quote, in the right direction. This via John F. Trent. Zegler previously detailed that she's anti-police activist, libeled Kyle Rittenhouse in 2020. Zegler responded to an article from Vice News reporting Kyle had been charged with something terrible, and she called him every terrible thing in the book, called him a supreme, which I don't want. There's literally no evidence of that. Of course, he beat the ridiculous charges. Zegler also called a supporter of Donald Trump a racist after the supporter tweeted, "You're right. If you're an American, vote for Trump to promote free speech." She responds, "Sit down, racist." That's right. That's exactly what I would expect. She would go on to call the president all sorts of terrible things. Interestingly, though, she claims to be at fault for never-ending racism. She wrote, "If you think using my platform, as any decent human being should, is barking orders, haha, okay, I've donated, shared, and will continue to educate myself on the never-ending racism that I and many other white/white passing people am to blame for. Do the same. Sorry, I'm not taking responsibility for anyone else's behavior." And the fact that, and the matter is, she really isn't either. She's just saying this so that people will think she's virtuous, okay? Celebrity worship is one of the biggest red flags of idiocy I've ever seen. If you, like, hopefully, I think a new Hawkeye should be a trans woman of color to stick it to the phobic garbage monster talking about directly Jeremy Renner. I'm sure when he sees her on the Disney lot, he'll have something to say. Following her box office tank with Steven Spielberg's West Side Story, Zegler is desperately trying to rehab her image as she appeared opposite Spider-Man No Way Home actor Andrew Garfield as part of Variety's Actors on Actors segment. Zegler would address critics of her race-swapped Snow White casting. I thought she was white. According to her, yeah, look at her skin. It's so white. It's white as snow. Snow that a dog... Well, never mind. Calling after Garfield gushed over her casting, saying, "What an amazing thing and a perfect casting." Yeah, perfect casting. They say directing is like 80% of casting. Mark is a great director in that regard because if you are Snow White, you are canon Snow White at this point, in my imagination. God, these people. There's obviously being supportive, and then there's being delusional. Sure, he asked, "How you feeling about it? How are you feeling about the role and the experience?" "Never in a million years did I imagine this would be a possibility for me. You don't normally see Snow Whites of Latin descent. You don't see any of them. The same reason you wouldn't see a story about a Native American folklore person played by a white person, unless it's Elizabeth Warren." Even though Snow White is a really big deal in Spanish-speaking countries. Again, so anime is a big deal here in the West, too. What difference does it make? Blanca Nieves is a huge icon, whether you're talking about the Disney cartoon or just a different iteration of the Grimm fairy tale and all the stories that come with it. She's really big in the Spanish language, but you don't particularly see people who look like me or are playing roles like me. It'd be like I mean, it's called Snow White. Am I taking crazy pills? She then brought up the backlash, saying when it got announced, it was a huge thing and that was trending on Twitter for days because all of these people were angry. Garfield will respond, declaring that people upset with the casting need to be lectured to. Those people. The people that we need to educate. Yes, because everybody in Hollywood is just so much smarter than all of us. The people that we need to love into awareness. Zegler concurred, saying, we need to love them in the right direction. Exactly. At the end of the day, I have a job to do. I'm really excited to view. I get to be a Latina princess. You didn't say Latinx. I mean, and then, look at this. Who died and made Peter Dinklage the king of the dwarves? Dylan Postal says the Hollywood actor doesn't speak for him or the countless other dwarf actors who would love to star in Snow White and follow their dreams in Hollywood. Dylan Postal is a professional wrestler, actor, and author who performed in the WWE under the ring name Hornswoggle. Nice job, Peter Dinklage. You got some good PR. Disney got a pass, and America moved on to the next politically correct outrage that little people lost their jobs. Take a bow, because that's exactly what's going to happen. Dinklage was trying to be woke and progressive when he called out Disney for remaking Snow White during an episode of Mark Macron's podcast. In this day and age, if you want to be successful in Hollywood, that has to be a key part of your message. Plus, we're all stuck at home and bored. Celebrities are scrolling through social media looking for someone or something to cancel. Unfortunately, this is the society we live in. Cancel culture has hit its peak. I actually agree with that, but allow me to say this. While I agree that I think it has hit its peak, I think that's a good thing. Hopefully there's no more peaks. Hopefully we're on the way out. People are getting tired of this. Dinklage said he has a problem with the way that Snow White, a classic cherished fairy tale, portrays dwarves. Well, I don't have a problem with Snow White. What I do have a problem with is Dinklage putting himself on a pedestal and looking down on jobs that countless dwarves in the entertainment industry would love to fill. 7 little people will now be out of a job. Honestly, who died and made Peter Dinklage king of the dwarves? It pisses me off. Now, Disney says they're taking a different approach with these 7 characters and have been consulting with members of the dwarfism community. Really? Who in the dwarfism community? I would have told them to fill each and every one of those jobs with a dwarf actor. Hey, Disney, call me. I'll take every role you've got. Dinklage is not a spokesperson for little people, and to believe that one person represents the entire community is ridiculous. This cancel culture is not just a problem for little people, it's a problem for our whole society. Dude, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan, dude. As soon as someone throws a woke red flag, companies immediately stop what they're doing instead of taking in anyone else's feeling into consideration. There has to be a limit to this craziness. This is no way to live. We cannot allow one person's opinion to change our lives at the drop of a hat. So what's so wrong with Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs anyway? Dinklage called it a backward story about 7 dwarves living in a cave. Wrong. The dwarves live in a cottage. They work for a living in a mine, and they had lots of gems. For a fairy tale story, these guys are doing pretty well. They're wealthy. Plus, they take Snow White into their home when she's in trouble, and each dwarf has his own personality, and the story doesn't portray all dwarves as the same. But apparently, according to Hollywood, all dwarves are the same, and Dinklage speaks for everyone. Spicy! I want to know who Disney's talking to. Did they call the little people of America? Did they speak to the average height people? Do they know they didn't? I know they didn't call me. All I ever wanted in life was to be a professional wrestler. It was my dream from when I was a kid, but I'm not what the WWE is usually looking for. I'm not 6'6", 250. I'm not the spotlight hire. I'm different. But in 2006, they were looking for a dwarf to play a leprechaun as a sidekick for the Fit Finley, and I got the job. For 10 years, I performed every week on a TV broadcast viewed by worldwide under the name Hornswoggle. I lived my dream. I can't play Spider-Man or Batman. I can't play P.T. Barnum. I'm not Hugh Jackman. But I could at least land a spot in a major motion picture playing a specialty role in the cast. It's not demeaning or degrading to take a role that is specifically made for a little person. But that's exactly what Dinklage and Disney want to get rid of. Roles for dwarves are already few and far between, and the competition for them is fierce. Dwarf as well as average height actors sometimes take the jobs that aren't perfect in every way. That's how I came up, frankly, and that's how Dinklage came up. He played the stereotypical angry dwarf in Will Ferrell's Christmas classic Elf and a literal fairy tale dwarf in the Chronicles of Narnia. His paychecks cashed just fine. Why would we take those paychecks away from someone else? Why would we make it harder for others to achieve? He is absolutely eviscerating him. Wow. Huge fan. Please don't have me pre-blocked. I'm going to see if he's on Twitter. Wait, that's not him. Well, I'll look for him. I'll look for him up on Twitter. What a great way to put it. Love it. Love a good old woke backfire. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.